Hello everyone, my name is G. Shivaprasad, rule number 21951 A04J9 ECC section, and I am presenting about the CRL Gateway. What is CRL used for? In cryptography, a certificate revocation listed or CRL is a list of digital certificates that have been revoked by the issuing certificate authority CA before their scheduled expiration date and should no longer be trusted. A certificate revocation list is also list of digital certificates that have been revoked. What is CRL and URL? CRL certificate revocation list and revoked certificate authority CAS are required to keep track of SSL certificates. They revoke the CRL. The URL to the certificate authorities certificate revocation list is contained in each SSL certificate in the CRL distribution. Points filled to the open the Chrome div tools, navigate to the security tab and click on view certificate. From here click on details and scroll down to where I will see CRL distribution points. CRL and firewall. Certificate revocation list CRL is a list of certificates, or more specifically a list of serial numbers for certificates that have been revoked. 509 digital certificate OCSP is described in RFC 6960 and is on the Internet Standards tracks. Both of these features are supported on the Palo Alto Networks firewall too. Do this. Open the Chrome div tools, navigate to the security lab and click on view certificate. From here click on details and scroll down to where you will see CRL distribution points. Why webs are used CRL? A digital certificate is used to encrypt online data, information communication between an end user's browser and a website. After verifying that a company owns a website, the certificate authority will sign their certificate, so it is trusted by internet browsers. Certutil Pulse will initiate auto enrollment request, right click certificates, point to all tasks, click automatically enroll and retrieve certificates. CRL certificate. To create or download a CRL, select the CA structure and CRLs menu option. The CA structure and CRLs page displays sections for each CA and sub CA created. To generate and publish a new CRL immediately, click create CRL to download a CRL. Click the download link at the end of the created CRL. The Microsoft Certificate Authority server CRL stands for Certificate Revocation List, which is used to verify whether the certificate for an application or website is legitimate or not. Microsoft applications have certificates associated with them and they can be checked for validity at CRL. Microsoft.com. You have to open up port TCP/IP HTTP to access the CRLs and CA certificates published on web servers. Revocation check. Certificate revocation is the act of invalidating a TLS SSL before its scheduled expiration date. When a client attempts to initiate a connection with a server, it checks for problem in the certificates, and part of this check is to ensure that the certificate is not on the CRL. Certificate revocation. Certificate revocation is the act of invalidating a TLS SSL before its scheduled expiration date. A certificate should be revoked immediately when its private key shows signs of being compromised. It should also be revoked when the domain for which it was issued is no longer operational. Certificates that are revoked are stored on a list by the CA called the Certificate Revocation List CRL. When a client attempts to initiate a connection with a server, it checks for problems in the certificate, and part of this check is to ensure that the certificate is not on the CRL. The CRL contains the certificate serial number and the revocation time. CRLs may be exhaustive, and the client that conducts the checks has to parse the whole list to find or not find the requested site certificate. This results in a lot of overhead, and sometimes a certificate could be revoked within the interval. In such a scenario, the client might unknowingly accept the revoked certificate. A more recent and sophisticated method of detecting revoked certificate is the online certificate status protocol. CRL check mechanism. A CRL check mechanism checkpoint gateway must check that the certificate is received from another entity for authentication purpose has not been revoked. This is achieved by using certificate revocation list. In case the certificate has been issued by the internal certificate authority, CRL is managed by the security management server. At the beginning, the gateway checks the CRL distribution points field of the certificate it received. Then the corresponding cache is checked in the following manner. First, the gateway checks presents the validity of the local CRL cache. Cache is stored per distribution point. If CRL is present and is not expired, the gateway uses this cache to check the certificate validity. Otherwise, the checkpoint firewall sends a request to the hosts that are listed in the policy section of the $FWDIR confirm master files in order to get the latest version of CRL. Each certificate authority CA periodically issues a certificate revocation list CRL to a public repository. The CRL identifies revoked certificates by serial number. After the CA revokes a certificate, the next CRL update will include the serial number of the certificate. The firewall supports CRLs in distinguished encoding rules (DER) and privacy enhanced mail (PEM) formats. The Palo Alto Networks firewall downloads and catches the last issued CRL for every CA listed in the trust CA list of the firewall. Catching only applies to validated certificates. If a firewall never validates certificates, the firewall catch does not store the CRL for the issuing CA. If CRL expires when generated, a key property imparted on the certificate is how long the certificate will remain valid for, typically between 1 and 5 years. At the end of that duration, the certificate expires and becomes invalid automatically. From Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia in cryptography, a certificate revocation list or CRL is a list of digital certificates that have been revoked by the issuing certificate authority before their scheduled expiration date and should not longer be trusted. Delta CRL and base CRL. There are two types of CRLs. Base CRL is a CRL that contains all non-expired revoked certificates. Delta CRL is that contains all non-expired certificates have been revoked since the last base CRL was published. The original CRL file is created and stored at the issuer. It gets provided usually via HTTP, but other mechanism exists. To know which URL provides the CRL for a specific certificate, look at the CRL distribution points property of the certificate. Thank you.